want to go back to one thing you said in your opening about that comment. Taylor, can we play the opening Joe Biden's comments that this is the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War? Cut one, please.
100 days since I took the oath of office and lifted my hand off our family Bible and inherited a nation, we all did, that was in crisis. The worst pandemic in a century. The worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. The worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War.
The reason I wanted to replay that is because it is, obviously, if you know anything about American history, I'm not even the best with American history, but I know that is totally false. But the part of it that amazes me, Howie, is that usually when politicians make these kind of gaffes and fumbles, it's because they're speaking off the cuff. But his people wrote that. It's such an unforced error. Like someone could have easily said, maybe that's a little much. You know, that's a bit of a stretch. But
there's an old saying. There's a lot of old sayings about the big lie. One of them that I just heard recently is, you tell a lie once, it's a lie. You tell a lie 1,000 times, it's the truth. So that was about the millionth time they've said it. This was the greatest attack on democracy since the Civil War. Let's look at the death toll. I think there were about probably 20, 30 million people in the United States in the 1860s when the Civil War took place. 500,000 plus men were killed in the Civil War, 500,000 plus. Now we have a nation with 330 million people. 5 people died on January 6th, and 4 of them died of natural causes, basically. And 1 was shot by a cop. So is it really an apt comparison, the Civil War and January 6th?
It's obscene. I mean, it's just so ludicrous. And the fact that they write it down and they broadcast it before he even gets out there, everyone had a chance to kind of see it and go, oh my God, is he really going to say that? And he did. Now, Howie, I know you're going to be playing these cuts all day, so I don't want to steal too much of the thunder with the Joe Biden stuff. What I do want to say, though, is in the previous segment, you had mentioned that New York is going to be opening sooner than Massachusetts. I am also shocked. I mean, I knew Baker was bad. Actually, when I went to meet with my wedding planner at one point, Howie, I said to her, so do you guys, it's like a big wedding venue. They do them all the time. I said, so you guys have you heard anything from Baker? Does he ever reach out to you guys? He must know you lost a lot of money. And she said, well, he kind of goes based off of what New York's doing. And I literally rolled my eyes to the back of my head. And I said, oh, great. So that means I'm really under the thumb of Andrew Cuomo. But it
start spreading the news.
But it turns
We're opening up by July 1st. And as the New York Post says, why are we waiting until July 1st? If it's okay in July, why is it not okay now? And it's an even better question for Massachusetts. If it's okay now, if it's okay August 1st or August 22nd, if you're in the city, why is it not okay now?
I saw a lot of restaurant owners in South Boston, how we were reposting this Instagram where they kept saying, please make this make sense. And it was all different timelines of New England states. And we are at the very bottom. And they're like, how are we expected to compete with these other states if they're fully open and we're still 2 months behind? Like they can't compete with Vermont, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, New York. It's really bad.
How about this one, Grace? The legislature, this is Albany, yesterday finally overturned Governor Cuomo's absurd rule forcing you to buy food along with alcohol at a bar, restaurant, or even a winery. A mandate that never had a thing to do with slowing down COVID, nor with anything resembling science.
No.
Do you know what the vote was?
Exactly.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you the vote exactly. In the assembly to do away with Cuomo's ridiculous orders about bars, 149-0. In the state Senate, 61-0 against Andrew Cuomo's ridiculous rules.
And the thing about that rule, Howie, which is so detrimental to restaurants, is that I've been out with people where we go, oh, you know what? I really want to go get an espresso martini. And then when this rule was in place, because it was in place in Massachusetts too, you go, but I don't want to order. I don't want to order more food. Like I don't want to sit in front of a plate of mozzarella sticks. We just ate a huge meal. And it kills your motivation to kind of bar hop, which is how a lot of these places make their money, is from young kids who go from place to place and just get one or two drinks.
Right. There's a lot higher markup with the booze than there is with the food. I mean,
my Nana used to say all restaurants, or at least most big restaurants, survive off booze.
I want to know, though, why do the Solons in Albany have the stones to go against the governor and call him the jackass that he so palpably is, but the legislators in Boston don't have the cojones to do the same thing to Charlie Baker, who may be an even bigger horse's rear end than Andrew Cuomo when it comes to the COVID restrictions.
I know, and I've been so I did have a cut I was going to play here, and I will get to it in a second. But I've been thinking the same thing, Howie, and I was talking to people about this week, and I said, I gave a lot of grace to these politicians at the very beginning, because I think when you're dealing with a pandemic and you really don't understand how bad it's going to be, that, some people want to play it really safe. I kind of understand that. But we are so far out now. We have actual evidence of states that aren't doing things like this, and they're totally fine. If anything, they've fared better than we have. So there's no logical explanation as to why you're still punishing these small businesses.
Hey, Grace, the mailroom manager last night went to Mar-a-Lago with a couple of her friends. I had to, I worked till 7, so I didn't go. Do you know the waitress? For the first time in over a year, no mask on the waitress.
Oh, thank God. I was talking to someone today from the Cape, and they said, oh my God, it's going to be, first of all, Howie, there's no rentals. Every house, there's no houses to buy, period, but there's no rentals. Every house, whether you want to go to the lake in New Hampshire or if you want to go down the Cape, everything's rented out. But then also the restaurants usually get people with visas, like who are there for the summer. Right. And they don't have those workers right now because no one can get over here. So the restaurants are trying to get these like young American kids to get off the couch and come work for them. But it's so hard because, one, a lot of people make more money off unemployment. And two, Howie, which I think is a big thing, is that the Karens at these restaurants are so mean to the staff. If they see you with your mask below your nose, they're like, hey, I'm gonna call your boss. So it's like, I don't know. I feel bad for all these people.
I mean, who wants to? And it's even worse in the kitchens because the kitchens are hot.
Oh,
remember we had the woman on from in New York State last year. She was getting ratted out by the Karens because it was like 120 degrees in these restaurants, and during heat waves, and the Karens were just putting their heads in and then ratting them out to the snitch line, saying they weren't wearing masks.
Howie, I waitressed for a few summers. I know you know this, in Martha's Vineyard in the summer, and I can't imagine having to wear a mask during all that. You're dealing with such, so many things at once anyway. You're trying to get everything right, and you've got pretty tough customers, and then you got to have that thing on. You're just sucking in your own breath all day. It's like, it's terrible. But the reason, before we got off on this tangent here, is I love this cut of Governor Cuomo. He's doing that thing where he asks a question and answers it. He's trying to explain away two of the biggest scandals in New York history by just, kind of having an open mic conversation with people at this event. It's really uncomfortable. Cut 39.
Because whether you died in a nursing home or you died in a hospital, that is who do you attribute that death to? Do you attribute it to a nursing home or do you attribute it to a hospital? How about if you were in a nursing home and got sick and then were sent to a hospital and you died in the hospital? Who do you attribute that death to? Well, I think that should be a nursing home death. Okay. How about if you were in a hospital and sent to a nursing home and you died in the nursing home? Who do you attribute that death to? A nursing home or a hospital?
Howie, if you're his lawyer, aren't you saying, like, you got to stop this, man? You got to stop this. You're making this so much worse for yourself.
There's an old saying, if the first rule of being in a hole is to stop digging. right?
Not if you're a Cuomo. Not if you're a Cuomo. Grace's News is brought to you by Toyota of Portsmouth, the house of value. I love my new RAV4 XLE, and I love getting it at Toyota of Portsmouth because everybody there is so nice. It's in New Hampshire. It's in free America. So get yourself out of Massachusetts and go visit them. They have a huge, sparkling, clean showroom and an incredible staff. Say hi to Brad if you're there. He's one of my favorites. They're located just south of the Portsmouth traffic circle off 95. Go to toyotaofportsmouth.com or visit them at the showroom and tell them Grace sent you. Howie, that's all. I'm gonna be tuning in today to hear you go through all of these Biden sound cuts.
That's right. It's going to be tragic results now that we see the ratings for the overnight. All right, thank you, Grace.
Oh, Howie, by the way, I'm just waiting for all the think pieces to come out now about how actually it's good that Biden had low ratings. This is a good sign.
We're back
they're
to
going to try
normal.
to twist it. Yeah,
we're back to normal. Yes,
unity.
Exactly. Thank you, Grace.
Yep.
For months now, we've been telling you about Super Beets Heart Chews. These are fantastic for your heart health, your circulation, your blood pressure, and they also it improves your focus and to take on everyday tasks without those midday crashes when you just sort of run out of energy. You can just stick them in your pocket and take them with you when you go to work. It's a fantastic product, the Super Beets Chews. Well, now Super Beets has a new product that we want to tell you about. These are Super Beets Memories and Focus. Now, this is good for your brain health. And a lot of us come from backgrounds where we've had where we worry seeing what happened to our older relatives in their declining years, shall we say? And we want to try to do something to make sure that our brain health is sustained as we do grow older. The maker of Super Beets Heart Chews are now introducing their newest product that helps promote the brain blood flow and it supports overall cognitive health. Super Beets Memory and Focus. I'm holding it in my hand here if you're on social media. Research has shown that by promoting blood flow, you can support cardiovascular and cognitive health. Combining clinically studied fermented resveratrol with a patented coffee fruit extract, Super Beets Memory and Focus promotes brain blood flow, supports memory, alertness, and helps support reduced perceptions of mental fatigue. Super Beets Memory and Focus supports brain health two ways: by promoting blood flow and supporting healthy levels of BDNF. Healthy levels of BDNF, a key neuroprotein, supports overall brain health as we age. Just like Super Beets Soft Chews, they're quite delicious. They have a blueberry pomegranate taste, unlike the Super Beets Chews, but they still taste great. Like the other Super Beets products, Super Beets Memory and Focus was crafted under the careful guidance of scientists and features clinically studied key ingredients, the only cognitive chew of its kind. You need to support your overall brain health as you age, and this is what it's all about. Super Beets Memory and Focus. Support your brain health and cognitive performance with Super Beets Memory and Focus. Take advantage of this introductory limited time offer today. Get a free 30-day supply of new Super Beets Memory and Focus with your purchase of Super Beets Heart Chews. Get yours at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. That's superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
When Howie's on, every radio is a magic radio.